Hey guys, it's Tanner with Architech, and I wanted to come up with a video that kind of helps first year students going into an architecture program or going into architecture school just have an idea of the tools that are going to come in their kits that they're going to get, and which ones I found the most useful, and certain tools that I got later on that I found very useful that weren't in my kit. And so I just want to put together a video that's going to have some of my favorite things from my architecture kit that I got in school and some of my favorite things that I bought separately. And then I also have a few videos of some of my friends giving you their favorite tools they got in their kit and their favorite tools that they purchased separately. So we'll go to my buddy Caleb. In his video, he'll explain to you what his favorite things are, and then we'll go to Cal.
Hello everyone. So today I'm just going to talk a little bit about what my favorite tools are from the architecture kit from first year, and then a tool that I personally am very fond of that was not included. My favorite tool, not really a tool, but my favorite piece of equipment that was included in our studio kit would be trace paper. I love the aspect that you can draw something and then take another piece of paper and then draw over top of it, and you can see the way that your spaces will interact with one another, and just the way that the overall functionality and circulation will be. So that has been my favorite tool, if you will, from the kit. And I use it like pretty much every day. And it's also really like thin material, and it doesn't take up a lot of space, which is really nice. For my outside of the kit tool, I have this pencil holder. There's two different portions, and it just opens up. And they have inserts so you can hold your pencils, and your studio kit does come with a pencil holder of a sort, but I was not a huge fan of that. I felt like oftentimes my pencils and erasers and stuff were falling out of it when I would open it up. So this one has elastic bands on the interior, and I just think that it holds everything nicely together, and it looks pretty professional in my opinion too. The brand is Global Art, and I got it as a graduation present, but it's been really useful, and I store all of my pencils and colored pencils in there too. So hope everyone is doing good, so thank you.
Awesome, thank you so much, Caleb. I really appreciate your help with making that video and sending that in. That's very much appreciated, and I really appreciate your advice with that. Next, we'll go to Cal and see what some of his favorite tools are.
So the tool that is in your kit that I think is the most useful is the blending stick. And what that does, it basically takes whatever you've colored and it kind of like blends them together without adding any pigment to your paper, which makes it look a lot cleaner and a lot nicer. You won't use it much first semester, but in second semester, once you start getting more creative with your drawings, you're going to be using that a lot, and I think it looks really nice for your presentation boards. And as for the tool that I think is most useful that isn't supplied in your kit, I'd have to go with the 24-inch T-square. I bought mine at Hobby Lobby for $10, and I've used it from the first month of school till now. And it's really good for just lining up your paper on your table, making sure the edges are parallel to the edges of the table before you tape it down, which will make all your lines straight and look nice. And it's also long enough to span across the whole length of your paper horizontally. And you can also put your triangles on top, your 90-degree triangles on top of it to create vertical lines as well. And it's really easy to slide up and down, and I think that's definitely something that you should buy or consider buying anyways if you're going into architecture.
Thanks, Cal. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you sending in that video. Super helpful. Means a lot. Hope you're having a good summer so far. Last but certainly not least, we're gonna go to my buddy Andrew and hear what he has to say.
Hey guys, my name is Andrew Wangler. I'm here with Bentley, and Tanner has asked us to find a couple of tools that we really like. One that wasn't in our kit and some that are in our kit. So I'm going to highlight some of my favorites. The first one is a caliper. This is an analog dial caliper. You can find digital ones. They are super useful for when you need to cut something at a specific length. You can mark that, use your square, and you can lock it in case you need that dimension more than once, and then it won't move on you. You can use these for inside dimensions, you can use these for outside dimensions, and if you need depths, you can use this part of it here. Really great tool. It does take a little bit to learn on how to read it, but like I said, they do make digital ones. The digital ones you can switch between inch and millimeter if that's what you like to work in. Really great tool. The next thing that wasn't on our kit that came in helpful multiple times. There's only one project that I can think of that I didn't use this, and it's my 3D printer. Right now I'm printing N95 masks because we are in the middle of the coronavirus stuff. And I was asked to print some that we can donate to hospital and healthcare stuff. So anyway, 3D printer, great tool. This came in our packs, tacky glue. It's a really great product. It dries clear, it dries relatively quickly. The use of clamps with this stuff is a really good idea. It doesn't dry quickly enough that it's comfortable holding that piece there. So if you can clamp that piece together, that's preferred. The next tool is a hot glue gun. Really useful when you don't want to hold those pieces on. It dries very quickly. The problem is it gets a little stringy. So your technique in how you end that glue is important when using hot glue gun. There are ways that you can keep your project tidy with hot glue. You just kind of need to play around with it, and a good hot glue gun won't run as much out the tip. So get yourself a nice hot glue gun. Enjoy your tacky glue. Buy a caliper, and if you can, get your own 3D printer. All right, thanks for joining Tanner, and thank you for listening to me talk about tools. See you later.
Awesome, thank you so much, Andrew. I really appreciate the advice, and it's always good to see your puppies. Hope you're doing well. Look forward to seeing you here soon. Those are a few of my buddies from NDSU. I really appreciate them helping out and sending in their videos during kind of the lockdown and everything. It's been super helpful. Now I'm just going to share with you some of my favorite tools that I got in my kit and some alternatives to the tools that I got, and then some of my favorite things that I got that really didn't come in my kit. So one of my favorite things is the metal ruler. The 24-inch one and then the 6-inch one. My favorite thing about these is the corked back. And what's nice about the corked back is if you're using it on a piece of paper, it doesn't really slide around. So you put enough pressure on it, and you want a nice straight line. Works really well for that. Also, when you're doing model making and you're wanting to have a way to do a nice straight cut, it's nice to use this. You can push this down and just bring your blade alongside and follow that edge. So these are really nice. I've been using these like crazy. Quite a few slashes in them for my blade, but they work really well. Speaking of blade, what I got in my architecture kit my first year was an X-Acto knife. And the X-Acto knife is great, super sharp, but it just isn't quite what I wanted to use. Mostly, I mean, it's like a pencil, but it's just, you can get so close to that blade and it gets a little uncomfortable. Sometimes the blade will get stuck and want to pull out, and they can break a little easier. So they're nice, they're very sharp, but for me, I want something that was a little bit more beefy and I could put more weight into it and hold it and just be more comfortable. So the tool that I would recommend getting that might not be in your kit. All these kits could look differently. Mine had an X-Acto knife in it. Yours may have a utility knife, but if it doesn't, I would recommend getting one of these. The utility blade was nice. You can snap it up. You can hold it really well. You don't have to worry about cutting yourself. You can put a lot of weight into it. And then you have snappable edges and snappable blades, so when it gets dull, you just snap a piece off and keep going. They're relatively cheap too. So I would recommend, if you don't get a utility knife in your kit, to go with something like this. It's been really helpful. We also got chart pack markers in our kit, and the chart pack markers are pretty good. They're fairly inexpensive. They're like $2 or $3 a marker, but they bleed a lot. And for them to not bleed a lot, you have to really, really use them a lot until they're not bleeding very much, and then there's not much left in them. So what I really enjoy is the Copic markers. With the Copic markers, my favorite thing about them is that they're refillable. So with Chart Pack, once you use them and they're empty, they're done, you toss them and you get new ones. So it's a lot of going back and buying new markers. With Copic, granted, these don't last quite as long as the Chart Pack do, but they're refillable, and they have two different kinds of edges. So you have this type of tip. This is actually the one that pulls out, and you have a refillable cartridge that fills it. And then you have this kind of tip. It's more of like a paintbrush. Love these markers. These ones cost a little bit more. They're like $7 or $8 a marker. If you go to like Michael's, or if you have a Hobby Lobby, every day they have like 40 to 60% coupons. So you can just go buy a pack, get them for cheap, go the next day, buy a pack and for cheap. So really handy with that. These have similar tips, a little bit bigger, but Copic is what I really recommend purchasing. In the long run, being able to refill them is super helpful, because yes, it's $8 right away, but you can refill them with a refillable cartridge, I think up to 8 times. Yeah. So I recommend those. We did get some different pens in our kit that were pretty good. I'm a lefty, so when I write, I smear and smudge everything. So for me, it's important to have markers that are good and don't really do that. What I found, I believe it's pronounced Faber-Castell, might be different. I apologize if I just butchered it. But these are really nice pens, and these ones all have the different line weights, so they can come in handy for if you want to do different line weights on your drawings. This pack is really great. You can actually buy a more expensive version of these, but they're refillable. So it actually is like they're metal pens, and you can refill them and reuse them. I think they're close to $100 for the pack, but could be worth it in the long run if you really want to be using pens a lot and doing a lot of drawings or sketches. Comes in handy. So these are some of my favorite ones to use. And also, I'd recommend, you'll get a sketchbook most likely in your kit. You're going to go through a lot of sketchbooks, but for me, I'd really recommend, so these sketchbooks, they don't make this brand anymore, or they have this brand, but not the dotted kind of this brand anymore. So if any of you haven't seen 30 by 40 Design Workshop's YouTube channel, check it out, it's amazing. But he makes his own sketchbooks that are this size, they're dotted, but they're called blank sketchbooks, and they're amazing, and I would recommend getting something like that. These are great size, really portable, and really nice to sketch on. The paper is really nice, and I recommend getting something more of a personal sketchbook that you bring with you on the go. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please click the subscribe button below. I'll be having some more videos coming out here sooner rather than later. I know it's been a while since I posted a video, but it's kind of been a crazy time. So hopefully I'll see you guys sooner than later. Otherwise, have a great day.